Good morning. Again, for many of you, first time for some of you. Uh, I love it when we have visitors. My name's Dave Hackett. I'm welcoming you on behalf of our whole community and board of directors. Um, I feel so fortunate to be here. I had two good conversations already this morning. And I think maybe if we had like breakfast before church, you know, that then I get more chance to like hang out, and munch toast and talk with people. Uh, anyway, forever hopeful. Uh, anyway, many of you know, some of you don't, that Unitarian Universalists are what I would call a relatively open-minded community based on values, more so than rules of regulations. I know there are some religious communities that had a lot of rules and regulations, and if you breach the rules, you can get in trouble. But that's not likely to happen here. Uh, we're here enjoying each other because we share a lot of values, and we yearn for community. Speaking for myself, I yearn for community. So let's see some old friends that haven't been here for a while. It's so delightful to see them. Lifts my spirits. Anyway, if you're a first-time visitor, we bid you a special welcome. Uh, we have frequent visitors. Lots of people are looking for community, looking for a place where they might feel at home and meet some people that they feel comfortable with and talk with and share their reality with. And we're looking for those kind of people. So keep on coming. If you want to learn more about Unitarian Universalism, you can talk with me after the service. I'll be over by that pillar because Cindy and I brought some plums from our plum tree this morning. And so I'm inviting everyone to take some plums. They're quite nice. Um, and we can talk about Unitarian stuff or plums or whatever you want. If you particularly would like people to approach you for conversation, there's some strategically placed red mugs over there. And if you go for coffee or whatever and get a red mug, then we will be cued to come and chat with you. And as our leader, Ben Holquist, is fond of saying, even if you're new and you want to take a white mug, well, then we'll just talk with you the usual amount. I really like the way he says that. There is a social hour after the service. There's snacks and coffee and other drinks over there. So come and hang out, please, and let's talk. It's arguably my favorite part of coming here on Sundays. Well, we also have large print hymnals in the back of the sanctuary, and we have devices that will help you hear, and they actually work because I frequently forget my hearing aids, and they work great for me. So I commend them to you. And as a final note, I want to share with you one of our value statements. I'm going to read it because I want to get it just right. It's very important to me. So, as we begin our service in this beautiful place called Tahoma by the local indigenous tribes and nations, I acknowledge that we meet today on the land of the Coast Salish people, including the Puyallup tribal nation, were on land from which they were forcibly displaced. And I honor the resiliency of indigenous people and stand with them as they continue to protect their culture, their land, their water, fight for their visibility, sovereignty, and very existence. All respect. Oh, one more thing. Over near the plums are a detractor. There are these purple sheets of paper. They, many of you know that off-year elections are coming up. There are a whole slew of local elections, which are a chance for us to vote our values if we have the information. There are voters' guides all over the place coming from different perspectives. But I wanted to commend the Indivisible Tacoma Voters Guide to you for two reasons. One is because on the back of their voters guide, their endorsements are here. On the back, they actually tell you their values, which most voters guides I look at, they don't tell me their values, they just tell me what their endorsements are. But with this, you can actually understand where these folks were coming from and what their committee bases their recommendations on, which I really appreciate that. So for your enjoyment.
And I'm gonna butt in before he does the last sentence.
But
I'm the pushy minister.
give me the hip.
No, you're gonna do the last one. There's one more announcement that I failed to give today.
Oh,
We do a third Friday potluck here, which is kind of a discussion group. It happens downstairs. And in October for the third Friday, it's a special one because John, where are you? Wave, John, is presenting slides and the story of his hike on the Pacific Crest Trail this summer. And so do make it to that if you can. So third Friday potluck at the noon time. And I'm sorry. 11:30 downstairs. And I apologize for interrupting.
oh, that's kind of exciting. Anyway, if you would please put your electronic noisemakers in worship mode. We'll have a time to be together. Thank you so much for being here. I love bringing a gong and I always forget.
Isn't that music just amazing? Just amazing. I often think if I didn't say a word after that, we would have still worshiped on this Sunday morning. So as I mentioned while I was elbowing into Dave Hackett's board announcements, I am the minister here. I'm the Reverend Margo Rinehart, and I am your minister here at the Tahoma Unitarian Universalist congregation. It feels like an exciting fall morning. We're just past the equinox. Things are shifting a little bit into more routine. We run around all summer and then we get into routines in the fall. I'm also aware we gather on Hispanic National History Month. I'm glad we still have one. So far, so good. We still have these National History Months. I am also really kind of aware that I would like us to have a few opportunities to get to know each other a little bit better as a congregation. The tech team is going to hate this because now I'm off script. Can we live this other microphone? I'm just going to give people who are new a chance to introduce themselves. If you would like to, don't feel pressure to do that, but just stand up and share your name. I will bring you a microphone. I think I may have to go there first. We love Kid Sounds in the Sanctuary, so not a problem.
Good morning. My name is Lori Steves, and I've been coming intermittently for the last, I guess, about year or so. I was at KUUF when I lived up in Kitsap, and before that, I was at Cedars on Bainbridge. Stephanie is my granddaughter, who I am fostering to adopt, and she's just been with us here in Washington for about a week and a half. She'll be joining us. I work for the state of Washington for GCYF, and I'm a chef. And I've been a Unitarian Universalist since about 2005.
That is Lori and Stephanie. Yeah. Anybody else who's new or who would like to introduce themselves? So just your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Russell. I grew up in Virginia. I was actually born overseas, and I've been in Washington for about the past 8 years now. Just looking for, said, an open-minded place. A lot of people might have many different beliefs, but we can all respect each other's beliefs.
Well said, Russell. Thank you. Oh, goodness. Isn't this great that I'm getting my exercise? Who else had their hand up over here? Oh, hey.
Hi. Hello, my name is Brittany, and I am from Puyallup. And let's see, I grew up Baptist, and I'm looking for a congregation that might be a bit more open-minded than one that I was raised within.
And Jessica, who's been with us certainly before. Good to see you. And
my name is Randy Webb. My wife Judy and I have been unchurched Unitarians for about 30 years. And I come from a long line of Unitarians and Universalists on both sides of my family. And have been actively involved in the church up until I met her, and then we kind of took care of each other. She comes occasionally, I come occasionally.
you brought your neighbor.
Hello, I'm Kevin Wildermuth, and I live in Tacoma in the same building as Randy. And I'm just curious because my dad was Unitarian. My serious girlfriend in college was a Unitarian. My wife is a Unitarian until she died 23 months ago. So I'm just looking for people.
So that was Randy and Kevin.
All right.
And I know it takes time to let people introduce each other in this way, but we have had so many new people come through our doors since the election, looking for community, looking for comfort, looking for safety, and we need to get to know each other better. So welcome everybody and thank you for sharing. And baby noises are perfectly okay. And thank you, tech team, for the pivot. Since I'm preaching today a little later on sort of forgiveness of various types, especially self-forgiveness, I have a few opening words that I will make very short from the Lois Bandler, whose stole I am wearing. Let go of all that binds you, of all the burdens of what you carry, of anything that shames you, of trespasses and transgressions, of woundedness, of guilt, of ways of being that no longer work for you. Let go of what you can't change. Let go of regret. Let go of what haunts you. Let go of any ways in which you miss the mark. Just let go.
I'm Charlie Kaparik. I'm your chat chaplain today. I'd like to invite Evelyn up to light the chalice. Evelyn is 8 for a few more days. She's very enthusiastic and is one of a wonderful group of young Unitarians. If you could join me in the words on the screen. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and holiness of life, in honor and gratitude for those who have gone before, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come. Our opening hymn is number 1012 in the Teal hymnal.
This is one we don't know very well and don't sing very often. So Marianne's going to play the whole thing through. You are. I know we didn't say that, but I thought your fingers could use the exercise. you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me acceptance, that I may learn to lavish to do, that I may learn to give. When I am troubled, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you be strong for me and comfort me tenderly? Will you share some of your feelings with me? If you will show me commitment, then I will learn to love as you do. Then I may learn to love. Thank you all.
So this is the time for all ages where I invite everyone. First, we do the food donations, the new thing that we're starting. So anybody who brought food donations, can you hold it up? And the kids will come get it from you. Yay, we got one. Anybody else? Over there. Anybody else? Calling once, calling twice. All right. And I invite everybody of all ages to come, young and old, come have a seat if you'd like. Young at heart, I should say.
My name is Jimmy. I'm reading the story today. A long time ago, one quiet evening, after a long retreat, the Buddha and his students were gathered together in a peaceful garden. One of the students looked up at the stars and asked, "Teacher, what is the world really made of? What holds everything together?" The Buddha looked up the sky, smiling gently. He was quiet for a moment, as if he were remembering something important and beautiful. Then he said, "Long ago, the great god Indra, who watches over forces of nature, created a magical net. This net stretches out forever in all directions, like an endless spider web made out of light and silk. At every place where the threads cross, Indra placed a shining jewel. Every single jewel is special and unique. But here's the most amazing part. Each jewel reflects every other jewel in the whole net, and inside each of those reflections, you can see all of the other jewels again. It goes on forever." The student looked confused. "But teacher, I don't see the net. Where are all the jewels in the world?" The Buddha looked kindly at him and said, "You are one of those jewels. Every person, every animal, every tree, every tiny bug, even a speck of dust floating in the sunlight is a jewel in Indriya's net. And every thought you ever had or feeling, even joy and sorrow, every dream and idea that anyone has ever had. They're all jewels too. Each jewel holds a reflection of others. That means you can carry a little piece of everything inside of you. And everything carries a little piece of you. You are not alone or separated. You belong to everything, and everything belongs to you. The student eyes filled with tears, and as he blinked, the stars above twinkled, and his tear is like a tiny jewel of the net. The Buddha looked at him with warmth and said, "That's why it matters how we treat the world around us. If everything is part of you, and you are part of everything, then when you care for even the smallest creature or plant, you're caring for the world, for the whole world, and yourself too."
Yeah. And now we'll sing the kids out.
We come to the time in our service when we support this church that we care for so very much. Patty and I have been a part of this church since the early 2000s and have found this a place of not only refuge, but growth. The love that comes from this church goes out to the community, but like any living organism, it needs nutrients. And those nutrients are the funds that come from you to support us in our work and each other. This is your opportunity to give online by following the directions on the screen, or the ushers will be coming around with the baskets for those of you in the congregation. And also don't forget about the 2 baskets up front for our parking and transgender assistance. Thank you for your caring. Will the ushers please come forward?
If you please join me in the words of dedication. We dedicate ourselves and our offerings to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of love we call community, both within and beyond these walls.
Please stand in body or spirit and join me in our meditation song in the Teal Hymnal 1002. The words will be on the screen. We hope that it's in the right order.
So when I picked the hymns, the comfort and when I am frightened, I just thought it's because we're talking about forgiveness, and that can be a scary thing, especially because we're all so hard on ourselves. So right now, what's going on in synagogues, and I assume Jewish households, these are the days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which are called the days of awe. So this first piece is actually written by a Unitarian Universalist who is not Jewish. And she says that. She says this is Yom Kippur inspired. Imagine this. On the days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, every fall, every year, the people make their peace with anyone they have wronged or slighted or injured or in any way neglected in the past 12 months. The task is not to patch things up, to smooth things over, or to reach a compromise. or sweep mistakes or uneasy memories under the rug. The task is not to feel better. The task is ownership. The goal is truth for its redemptive sake. I did this. I said this to you. It was wrong. I neglected this. I botched that. I betrayed you thusly. I demeaned you, whether you knew it or not. This is the truth in which both of us are living, and I ask you to forgive me. Imagine how many deep breaths you would need to take. Imagine how many doors you'd have to knock on, how many cell phone calls you would have to make, how many letters, how many lunches, how many coffee dates, how many awkward moments with your children, your parents, with complete strangers like that cashier that you were really short with last week at the grocery store. Awkward is irrelevant. The task is not about comfort. It is about truth. It's about wholeness and holiness. It is about restoration. Imagine this. Someone has been preparing all year to speak to you or to write to you to ask that hard question about forgiveness. Perhaps in some way it has been in your consciousness, and maybe you've been preparing that someday that person was coming to you at your door or on the phone or the letter that you hold with shaky hands, because here it is. Someone's asking your forgiveness. The task is not about comfort. It's about truth. You get to choose now, and you have to choose whether or how you will participate in restoration. You get to choose which way will be right in this case, between you as persons and with your gods. What response will make the world more whole? Imagine something yearns in you, creaky and rusty. In spite of the fears and self-deception, it turns around and becomes truer. Imagine healing wholly from within. So I'll go back to that reading a little bit later, and I flip it around a little bit. So in that reading, Stafford says her words are Yom Kippur inspired, and I say the same about my words this morning. And we both say that because we are not Jewish. So while we can appreciate the beauty of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and we can appreciate the reminder, we can't really truly understand and experience it because it is not part of our worship experience, our spiritual experience. And to pretend it is would be cultural appropriation. So we're not going to pretend the Jewish high holidays are our own, but we are going to allow them to let us pause and think. And I am always astounded when this time of year comes around and I realize that time between the holiday of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are called the days of awe, because that is how important and how deep the matter cuts. So let's have some discernment and introspection and really some tenderness in our hearts for ourselves. So I'm going to talk first about forgiveness with others, and then I really want to talk about toward the end about self-forgiveness. The information I provide about Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah are from the American Jewish Council and the writings of the Rabbi Dana of Rettenberg. So those 10 days, the days of awe, the days of repentance, is this time for introspection and concentrated time to consider all those mistakes of the previous year. Yom Kippur, meaning Day of Atonement, is the holiest day of the Jewish year. Leading up to and on that day, most Jews traditionally ask for forgiveness from God and from others for wrongdoings against God and humans. So God and humans. The spiritual practices involved are private introspection And then there is this powerful communal connection. The connection that shows by facing the things we wish we had not done. In a community, we are strengthened in the work, and the community also heals as a whole. The Talmud, the part of the Hebrew Bible, maintains that Yom Kippur atones not only for offenses and wrongdoings between humans and God, but for any transgressions from person to person. You have to do that. You can't do an end run around by asking God for forgiveness for what you did to this person. That doesn't work. You have to go to them. And if I understand the concepts correctly, in Judaism, repentance, forgiveness, and atonement are very separate categories. Repentance, forgiveness, atonement. And the tradition places the highest emphasis on repentance, which means doing it differently, developing that attitude in your heart for doing it differently next time. I came across a wonderful and terrifying anonymous quote, can't tell you who the author was, who says, "From whom do we need forgiveness? What have you done? Have you hurt someone you care about? Does guilt gnaw at you? Does it cause you pain and anguish? Are you trapped in the wreckage of your actions with no visible means of escape?" Yeah. And that line made me both laugh and my palms started sweating immediately. Trapped in the wreckage of my actions with no visible means of escape. Yes, I have felt like I have been there a few times. And that is a lot to take in. Because I think it is our Unitarian Universalist theology that we are born as good and loving people. But we are people and we make mistakes. We have all been thoughtless, selfish maybe, occasionally cruel at one time or another. And it may not have been intentional. It might have just been one of those days. Might have been careless, ignorance, or perhaps sometimes when I'm reacting in fear, I catch myself saying things that I just wouldn't normally say. Perhaps out of being overwhelmed, we're just not as generous in our responses and they became short and snappy and critical. I think Victoria Safford put it well. I did this. I said this thing. It was wrong. I neglected it. This. I botched it. I betrayed you thusly. I demeaned you whether you knew it or not. And this is the truth in which both of us are living. And I ask you to forgive me. And Safford is entirely clear. This is awkward. This is uncomfortable, but it is about taking ownership. And she encourages you to have the courage to do it. And it's not that casual saying, "I'm sorry," so that life can go on or we can get away from uncomfortable emotions. It's about what restores relationship. Relationship with that person or relationship with the community. That's our desired goal as Unitarian Universalists. And if reconciliation is what you want with that person, if that is driving you, asking you for forgiveness, you need to stop for a minute because you're making it all about you. You want to reconcile with that person, and therefore you're saying these things, but they may not want to reconcile with you. So you need to put your need in your pocket for a moment because you can't receive something from that person at their expense. You need to see them first as an actual person. And some people will forgive you right away. Some people have already forgiven you before you've even talked to them. They knew you were having a bad day. They knew there was something unusual. Others might take time to consider or reflect. You need to turn that kaleidoscope over again and again to see some nuances of the matter. And some will not forgive you then or later. Some have too much anger. Some have too many past hurts. I also want to have this huge warning sign over here. There are some people who are not safe for you to be in this process with, and I would never advocate for you trying to have reparation or reconciliation or being in a forgiveness situation with someone who is abusive or very untrustworthy. I also want, because I don't have the how-to list today of how you would ask someone for forgiveness, I want to talk about our self-forgiveness, because we are so hard on ourselves. It's not part of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur as far as I know. And I think sometimes we have to self-forgive before we can even do that other process of asking for forgiveness for another person. But it's important for our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Because in almost every situation, we are harder on ourselves than the other person would be. And when we get in our heads, our self-talk is so bad. It's so bad. How could I be so stupid? Why am I such an idiot? Why can't I ever learn to do something differently? I knew better and I did this stupid thing anyway. What is so wrong with me that I would do something like that? I don't deserve this friendship or this kindness. Anybody want to yell out a few? Anybody want to add something, or do you think I covered it? Yeah. Yeah. So our self-talk, our internal judgment of ourselves is so negative sometimes. And that is not in Unitarian Universalist theology to see ourselves as bad or to see ourselves as less worthy. It is in our theology to be accountable, but not to see yourself as a bad person or unworthy. We are the opposite. We see the worthiness in everyone. So in the reading by Victoria Safford, she's the person asking for forgiveness. And while that's important, and I love that reading, I want to hear her words in our own heads if we were talking about self-forgiveness. I want to turn her words just a little bit. So imagine this. After days or weeks of beating yourself up over an action you took, or perhaps didn't take, that has brought you regret. Maybe it's worse than regret. Maybe it's self-loathing. And again, we're harder on ourselves than we would ever be with others. So that person coming to the door is really, this is both parts of you. You may not feel ready to have this conversation with yourself. It might feel like it's awkward and you want to step it aside. But you can choose to participate in that restoration, that self-restoration. And the question she asks at the heart of the matter, and here's where the compassion comes in. What response to yourself will make the world more whole? You need to be accountable for what you did. Lay it out in your own mind or talk with a friend, someone you trust. Don't obfuscate or try to duck under the uncomfortable parts. Think about your human nature. We all do it. And it's not the core of who you are. It is an action you took. So be honest, but be compassionate. You're not the first person to make that mistake, and you will certainly not be the last. It's the human condition that we cause emotional pain sometimes for others. And if you're truly sorry, then what kind of response can you give that would make you and the world more whole, more loving, more compassionate? Imagine healing wholly from within. and seeing our glorious and perfect selves through mercy and the warmth of love. Not holding on to any self-loathing or any self-hatred. It was someone else that has put that image in your mind. In this sermon, I purposely put the idea of forgiving others before the topic of forgiving ourselves, because we are so much more gracious about forgiving others and so hard on ourselves. We deny ourselves the love and understanding that we would give to other people. We're just in a moment, I will wrap this up with the setting an intention part of the service, but I want to read a little prayer as we go into that. Close your eyes if that makes it easier to take this in. Source of love, we come carrying the weight of our own harsh verdicts, at which we feel insufficient, falling short of some impossible standard. We who would never speak to a friend the way we speak to ourselves in the dark hours before the dawn. There is a tenderness we save for others that we ration out from our own souls, a forgiveness we grant freely to strangers, while our own mistakes echo endlessly in our memory. We have learned to be generous with everyone but the person in the mirror. So teach us to be revolutionary in befriending ourselves. When shame whispers at the door, may we remember we are not our worst moments. We are not the sum of our regrets. We are beloved. We are imperfect. We are gloriously human. And we are worthy of the same gentle mercy that we yearn to give to the world. May we learn that loving ourselves is not vanity, but necessity, the deep well from which all other love must flow. So keep your eyes closed. And this is the end of the sermon, but this is our setting an intention. Is there something you need to forgive yourself for? Maybe it's more than one thing, but for right now, just focus. Is there one thing that you would like to forgive yourself for? See it, picture it, put words on it. Pretend that you are writing it on the back of a fall leaf. The leaf is dry. It's weightless. You're going to hold it in your hand. And you are going to blow on it and push it away into the wind. Amen.
Good rise in body or spirit. Our closing blessing song is again in the Teal hymnal 1007. The words will be on the screen. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing in my heart.
Since our tradition does not, we reject the wages of sin as being death. We push away against ideas of seeing ourselves as negative or sinful. I am able to close with some inspired words. Spirit of self-compassion within us and among us, teach us to tend to ourselves and one another. As we look at our actions or our interactions that might have caused harm, we will be honest and forthright, but we will begin with forgiving ourselves so that our hearts are soft and we are prepared to join with others. Yes, we are accountable, but we heal. We will not berate ourselves. We will bring reconciliation. And if we fail again, may we see it through gentle eyes and with compassion for ourselves. May this be our hope and vow. And may this place where love is at the center of all our actions.
If you join me in the words on the screen, by then Megan will come up to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And if you could rise in body or spirit and join in our other closing blessing song.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and by this we live. If anybody is missing some money that they may have dropped very early this morning, come and speak to either myself or Michael. Otherwise, it will go in the trans relocation funds.